Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will now, first of all, let me apologize for the late start. Okay? I apologize for the late start. Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do, Chair.
Okay. It's now 3:10, and the Secretary having advised me that we have a quorum, I call this meeting to order. I am Andre Foote, the Chairman of the Board of Directors of Regency Petroleum Limited. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this, our third annual general meeting of the shareholders. Today's meeting is being held in person, and a recording will be made available at a later date for the public record. On behalf of my fellow directors, it gives me great pleasure to welcome each and every one of you here today. I also wish to extend a special welcome to the representative of our auditors, McKinley and Associates, Chartered Accountants. And Mr. McKinley himself is here today. Where is he? Restroom. As soon as he come back. I am happy to see him. Normally he sends a representative. So the man himself is here today. And our law firm, Patterson Muir Hamilton. I also want to welcome our registrar of the JCSD Trust and Corporate Services, members of the press, and other guests, and the RPL team today. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our management team of RPL, who will be introduced later by our CEO. I now invite our director, Mr. Bennett, to ask God's blessings on these proceedings. Director Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could we kindly stand for prayer? Thank you. Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this company. We thank you for this occasion. We thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon this company. We thank you, Lord, for each shareholder. We thank you for every member of the management team. And we pray, Lord, that you may continue to bless this company and may it help Jamaica to grow. And may the services that we provide point to you, who is the source of all energy. We pray a blessing on the proceedings. May everything be done decently and in order. In Jesus' name, amen. Please be seated.
Later in the proceedings, our founder and CEO, Mr. Andrew Williams, will address us on this year's performance, which we're all here to hear about. This will be followed by the audit report from the representative of the auditors. You will be given the opportunity to address questions to both gentlemen. We look forward to a robust discussions. And while we may not have time to fully address all your concerns at this forum, we will ensure that every question gets answered. May I also ask persons moving and seconding resolutions to state their names for the records. The notice of the meeting was dispatched to all shareholders on May 8th, 2025. The notice was also posted on the Jamaica Stock Exchange website and is available at the company's website. If there are no objections, I seek permission of the meeting that the notice of the meeting be taken as read. May I have a motion. May I have a motion? Your name, sir? Mark Anthony Barton, seconded by? Debbie? Debbie Meek. Have that, Madam Secretary? Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. I declare the motion carried of the notice of the meeting. I'm pleased to welcome our directors here today and to introduce them to you all. To my extreme right, we have Mr. Andrew B. Cockin and Mr. Ratcliffe Nibbs, Mr. Edgar Bennett, our Director and Audit Committee Chair. Mr. Williams is not here as yet. He's coming from very far. This is a company based in Savlamar. That's why we're late, but he's going to be here any moment. All right? And our Director, Hugh Graham. Our mentor, Hugh Graham, sends his apologies.
Is he online?
No, there is no online today. Your directors are well accomplished in their respective fields, and you will note from their profile, as you will know from their profile on pages 9 and 10 of the annual report, that together there's a good balance of diverse and relevant skills required to lead this company. I wish to also welcome our Corporate Secretary, Mrs. Janice Grant-Taff, who continues to guide us on corporate governance matters and who ensures that we don't get into any trouble. We rely on her a lot. As a matter of fact, give her a round of applause. She comes with a wealth of experience, and we're really blessed to have her as part of our team. Our board and its committees remain vigilant and diligent in their deliberations. I wish to highlight some of the accomplishments of 2024. There were 10 meetings of the board and its committees, with directors attaining 100% attendance, whether in person or electronic. They take their work very seriously. The company continues to chart its course by expanding into new markets. The CEO will address these later. As a board, we continue to focus on strengthening our corporate governance framework through the Corporate Governance Committee, comprised of independent directors. By adopting strong corporate governance practices and policies, we want to ensure that our stakeholders are engaged effectively. And with your participation in our earnings calls, we can provide timely and fulsome disclosure regarding our financial performance and updates on new initiatives. We take corporate governance very seriously as a member of the stock market. There are two initiatives which are worthy of note. In 2024, the company participated in the Jamaica Stock Exchange Corporate Governance Index, which serves as a benchmark for assessing the company's corporate governance practices against international best practice on legal and regulatory requirements as set out in the rules of the JSE and local laws. The company received a rating of 74.69 with an overall rating of BB. We are particularly pleased with this score but we know we have work to do. I wish to commend our directors and management and the entire team for their role in helping us to achieve this. Secondly, one of the critical components of our functions as board members is to continuously assess our effectiveness and to identify gaps for improvement. Come. This evaluation was done in early 2025, and the findings were discussed. Arising from the evaluation, for the first time for us, training sessions have been organized to address the gaps. The next step is to conduct individual directors' evaluation in fourth quarter 2025. In keeping with its mandate, the company continues to build on its strong brand presence in the communities it serves. Through its robust corporate social activities. To you, our shareholders, we remain committed to our partnership with you and will continue to update you on the company's operations and future through our quarterly investors briefings. We also encourage you to keep the communication lines open. Seize the opportunity to reach out to us even outside of the annual general meeting through your investor relations portal on the website or via email at info@rplgas.com. Once again, I thank you all, and I will now proceed with the formal aspect of the AGM. The agenda for today's meeting is contained in the notice of the AGM, which can be found on page 5 of the annual report, and I think you all should have a copy. The first item of ordinary business of the meeting is to receive the audited accounts for the year ended December 31st, 2024, and the report of the directors and auditors. Before placing the reports to the vote, Mr. Williams will address the company's performance and update on the current projects, but he is not here yet. So we're going to have to take the auditor's report. Madam Secretary. So we're going to, where we going? Where we going? Oh, okay. Okay. And we will take questions after his presentation. The second and third, fourth items of business, we will deal with the resolutions to re-elect directors and approve the remuneration of the directors. The appointment of the auditors for the year ended December 31st, 2024, and to authorize the directors to fix the auditors' fees. Please remember the following guidelines for record-keeping purposes. All shareholders who have questions, comments, once acknowledged by me, the chairman, should then state their names before proceeding with their questions. If you're holding a proxy for another shareholder, please state the name of the shareholder. All questions should be addressed to the chair, who will determine who will respond to the question raised. Voting on the resolutions by shareholders online cannot be accommodated today, as this is an in-person meeting. Resolutions. Financial reports. On the first item of this afternoon's agenda, the audited financial statements and reports which were contained in the company's annual report for the year ended December 31st, 2024, are now before you. May I have a motion that the director's report be taken as read? Your name, sir?
Mark Anthony Barton.
Oh, yeah, Mark Anthony Barton. Seconded by? Anthony is good. Seconded by? And Hayden. Thank you, both. I now put the resolution to the meeting. You may vote by raising your hand. Those in favor? Any against? The ayes have it. I declare the motion carried. I now invite the representative of the auditors, McKinley and Associates, to read the report of the independent auditors. The key audit matters for the year 2024 are highlighted in the financial statements starting at page 44 of the annual report. Mr. McKinley, you're not coming. Eh? That's Mr. McKinley. All right. What's your name again? Paula Reynolds from McKinley and Associates. Give her a hand.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I am tasked with the responsibility this afternoon. I'm tasked with the responsibility this afternoon to read the report. It is normally the most exciting part of the, the annual general meeting. But I'll do my best. Please bear with me. Okay, here we go. To the members of Regency Petroleum Company Limited, this is the independent auditor's report, and the report is a report on the audit of the financial statements. Our opinion. In our opinion, the financial statement gives a true and fair view of the financial position of Regency Petroleum Company Limited as at the 31st of December, 2024, and of its financial performance and its cash flow for the year then ended in accordance with international financial reporting standards. Hereafter, we refer to as the IFRS as we go along, and the Jamaica Companies Act. What we have audited. The company's financial statement comprise the statement of financial position as of 31st December 2024, the statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the statement of cash flows for the year then ended, the statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statements, which include a summary of significant accounting policies. Basis of opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with the International Standards of Auditing, ISAs. Our responsibilities under these standards are further described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Independence. We are independent of the company in accordance with the International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, and including international standards, issued by the International Ethics Standard Board of Accountants, the IEPO. We are we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibility in accordance with AIBO. Our audit scope. As part of designing our audit, we determine materiality and assess the risk of material misstatement in the financial statements. In particular, we considered where management made subjective judgments, for example, in respect to significant accounting estimates that involved making assumptions and considering future events that are inherently uncertain. As in all of our audits, we also address the risk of management override of internal controls, including, and among other matters, consideration of whether there was evidence of bias that represents a risk of material misstatement due to fraud or error. We look at key matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were the most significant of our audit of the financial statements. Key audit matters are selected from the matters communicated with the audit committee members, those charged with the governance of the audit procedure, but are not intended to represent all matters that were discussed with them. These matters are addressed in the context of our audit of the financial statement as a whole and informing our opinion thereon. We do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. During our work, we encountered no key audit matters that required disclosure. We address the responsibilities of management and the board of directors for the financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation of these financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with IFRS, and for such internal controls as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters relating to going concern and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the company or cease operations or has no realistic alternative but to do so. The board of directors is responsible for overseeing the company's financial reporting process. Auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statements. Look at that. The objective of our audit are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to ensure an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that the audit conducted in accordance with international standards of auditing will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatement can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decision of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. As part of the audit, in accordance with the ISAs, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement for the financial statement, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient to provide a basis of our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than the one resulting from an error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omission, misrepresentation, or the override of internal control. To obtain an understanding of the internal control relevant to the audit and to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not to express an opinion on the effectiveness of the entity's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. To evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements, including the disclosure, and whether the financial statement represent the underlying transactions and event in a manner that achieves a fair presentation. We are not responsible for the direction, supervision, and performance of the company. We remain solely responsible for our audit opinion. Conclude on the appropriateness of management use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists relates to the events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that the material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our audit report to the related disclosures in the financial statements. Or, if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, further events or conditions may cause the company to cease to continue as a going concern, or I should say future. We communicate with the board of directors of the company regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant account audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal controls that we identified during our audit. We also provide the board of directors with a statement that we have complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence, and to communicate with them all relationship and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on the independence, and where applicable, related safeguards. From the matters communicated with those charged with governance, we determine those matters that were of most significance in the audit of the financial statements of the current period, and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe these matters in our auditor's report unless law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matter, or when, in extremely rare circumstances, we determine that a matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequences of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest benefit of such communication. our information, or other information, sorry. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises the annual report, inclusive of directors, chairman of the board, and the executive officer report, but does not include the financial statements and the auditor's report thereon. The annual report is expected to be made available to us after the date of the auditor's report. Our opinion on the financial statement does not cover other information, and we do not express any form of assurance thereon. In connection with our audit of the financial statement, our responsibility is to read the other information identified about when it becomes available, and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements or our knowledge obtained in the audit, or otherwise appear to be materially misstated. When we read the annual report, if we consider that there is a material misstatement therein, we are required to communicate the matter to those charged with governance. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. As required by the Jamaican Companies Act, we have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been kept so far as appears from our examination of those records, and the accompanying financial statements are in agreement therewith, and give the information required by the Jamaica Companies Act in the matter so required. The engagement partner on the audit in this independent auditor's report is Mr. Wilfred McKinley. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The audited accounts for the year ended December 31st, 2024, and the report of the directors and auditors were circulated and now before the meeting for discussion. However, before the resolution is put to the meeting, I would like to invite our CEO, Mr. Andrew Williams, to address you on the highlights of the company's performance over the period and the strategies going forward. Our CEO, Mr. Andrew Williams.
Welcome again, everyone. And first of all, I have to apologize for being so late. I'm sure it won't happen again. I'll put my very best effort not to make it happen again for the next meeting, all right? Right. All right, so everybody hearing me, right? 2024 was a significant year for the company. We achieved what was targeted for 2024, and we had a lot of challenges during the year, but all in all, we achieved what was targeted. We had a significant year. We had what we had planned for that year. We executed, along with other ventures, opportunities that came on the table. We took advantage of. So, in recapping for 2024, our revenues had increased significantly. We passed the $1 billion mark. We passed the $1 billion mark, and as we expected, our assets increased, our liabilities increased also. I see Mr. McKinley. Welcome, man. Welcome. Good to have you. Yeah. So back to it. So for 2024, we achieved many targets. our profitability increased significantly, over 70-odd%. I won't bore with the exact figures, but I guess if we look through the financials, we will see the exact figures. So it's over 1.6 billion in revenue. Our profitability was 89 million. Right, on page 22. And I mean, all in all, this speaks for itself over the previous year. And it goes with what we have been saying over the period. We try to achieve what we set out to do, and we try to stick on course. So we significantly increased overall, and it's in our growing path. So it's the first or the second year since listed last year, and we have been growing or exceeding our expectations. And we expect to continue to do so as we continue to apply ourselves. And again, I have to say, we keep putting God first in what we do. So we always try to ask his advice and include him in everything that we do. So any venture, any opportunity, because since we are listed, I can tell you that opportunities continually come on the table, and we have to make prudent decisions. You know, we have to take our time out, do evaluations, assessments to make decisions, which is why we are seeing the results that we are seeing now. So we have our 4 service stations operating last year. Last year, January, Negril was opened. We also opened Spanish Town Road, which was highly anticipated. We had some delays to it, but we opened it in the year, mind you, the last week of December, but we still tried to meet that target for opening it last year. We had many challenges. We know the location, and we had other challenges with construction and all that. However, in that year, 2024, we opened Negril in January. We had also had our first franchise agreement for service stations. We had our franchise for LPG the previous year. So last year was our first franchise, which is DW People's Choice in Withorn, Westmoreland, which again shows the confidence of the general public, the persons in the industry within Regency, the confidence they have in Regency to want to come on board with us and partner with us and become a part of Regency and grow with us. So that's a clear indication of that. And since then, we have had other interest in the company on all segments. So when I say segments, let me just give you a brief recap. You know that we do LPG, which we started out with, and we do automotive fuels. We do it on both sides. We do it on bulk and retail. We had our franchise for bulk, 2023. Last year, we had our first franchise for automotive fuel, which is a gas station, 2024. So we will continue to expand on that. On the, I wouldn't say downside, but LPG, as I always state, is something that we have to grow it organically. It is quite capital intensive. It takes a lot of capital, especially when it comes down to household cylinders. When I say household cylinders, I mean the 25 pounds and the 100 pounds that we use, 30 pounds that we would use at home. It's very risky and it's capital intensive. When I say capital intensive, again, I mean the cylinders itself in particular. To be more detailed and specific, the cylinders are very, very expensive. And for you who don't know, I can bring it to your knowledge now because I realize that since we're in the business, a lot of the consumers not aware that the cylinders are not owned by you, the consumer. It's owned by the marketing company. And we have the responsibility of the cylinders, basically. So a lot of persons, I would say a majority of the population is not aware that when they spend a user fee, when you purchase or you think you purchase a cylinder, it's not really purchasing a cylinder. You are borrowing it or paying a user fee, which is a very small percentage of the cost. It's probably, I don't even think it makes up 30% of the cost of the cylinder. So it entered the market, we were probably the first, apart from the traditional companies that existed in the country over 40 years, to come into the market. So you're going to have a lot of challenges. Consumers will say, boy, we're not aware of this product. We're not sure if we're going to explode in our homes or what might happen. So we had that barrier, that challenge, that obstacle to overcome, which we did overcome. We took some losses on it. For the cylinders, we took some losses and some beating for that, but we actually overcome that, which is why we are at the point now where we actually opened up the market for other Jamaicans to come in. I'm not going to stay too long, but I want you to have a clear understanding. We allowed other consumers and competition to come into the marketplace, which we welcome. And we are happy to see that Jamaican companies now within the industry gain that confidence to know that, boy, we can also do it. We don't have to leave it up to the multinationals to come into the country and take advantage of this opportunity. So that's a good sign. We are pleased with that, to see that we actually, I would say, pioneer that has started out on that part for the LPG. So based on over the years, the past 3, 4, 5 years, since 2018, we have established ourselves within the marketplace to the point where our product, LPG, household cylinder, is, I would say, based on my personal experience, is in high demand across the island. We are getting phone calls, and I know I've said this before, probably even the previous AGM, where we're constantly getting phone calls. So we have been planning this out. So we plan for this. I'm going to the outlook now. We plan that we're going to expand on our household LPG. That's in the plans for the next year, or from now to the next year. So we are carefully evaluating and assessing how we're going to approach it, and we have come up with some options, which we are exploring, and we are very close now to launch out on the household LPG. It's quite profitable. The risk has reduced, I wouldn't say significantly, but it has reduced based on time and what has happened in the marketplace over the period since we have been on the stock market and prior. And so I'm quite confident now that we can make that leap forward. What avenue we're going to fund it, you will know about that, but we will keep you abreast when it comes down to that. For the automotive fuels, I won't much longer, but for the automotive fuels, we are gradually expanding on that side. As I said, as time goes on, the company is becoming more and more established. So a lot of opportunities come on our desk, quite often, more than often now. So we have to be careful as to how we decide to move forward. But yes, we want to be a household name. We want to be across the island. We want to dominate the industry as a Jamaican company. And we also want to go multinational too. So I'm going to close off now, but I'm going to close off with one announcement. I know it will come in the questions after, but I would like to take this opportunity to announce that we have been successful in the award of the service station, the gas station at the Norman Manley International Airport. And the last 3 words I will say is thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God. Thank you very much, Andrew. I now invite our shareholders to raise any questions or comments on the reports on the business of the question of the company. So we're taking questions now to the CEO. Remember, you have to say your name so I can identify you. Any questions? Mark Anthony?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You can hear me well, right? Yeah. Shareholder, Daniel Shaw.
Daniel Shaw.
Yeah. So page 62 of the auditor's report, receivables, bad debt in 2023 was 624,840. In 2023, my apologies. In 2024, it becomes 5,116,125. Now, my question is, what strategies have you employed to mitigate this in the future?
Okay, so I'm going to have my CFO come in at some point. But let me just say that for the receivables, it's made up of trade receivables and also the lease on service stations. So you're asking, you're asking about trade receivables or just receivables in general?
Bad debt.
The bad debt.
Yes.
Okay. The bad debt, It's one particular bad debt you're referring to, right? Or the overall bad debt?
Overall,
Okay, the overall bad debt is actually made up 90% of one particular customer. Client. Right. So, it's a provision for bad debt, right?
I
So-
see that it's a projected budget.
Right,
That's
right.
what's on the paper.
Right. So it just made up of primarily one which have, since this quarter, have cleared up the bad debt. Have cleared it up
2025.
for 2025. Since this quarter that we are currently in, just to the close of the first quarter to the second quarter. Yeah.
For inventories, same page.
Yeah.
2023, the Paradise Store. 2023, it was $1,296,098.
That's regards to.
I just want to know, what is the Paradise Store?
No man, the Paradise where was the convenience store along with the service station.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So you're making reference to what now? The convenience store or the service station?
I just know that
Oh.
inventories, there's a Paradise Store. 2023, it gives the amount it was worth. 2024, it's not there because I wonder what happened to it.
Oh well, yeah.
What is it even, actually?
Okay, sorry about that. I have a voice problem, so I hope you can hear. Yeah, that inventory is related to the convenience store, and during the latter part of 2024, the convenience store was leased to someone, and the inventory taken over by the person who leased it.
So what? Oh, so okay. So what we were trying to do, we were trying to franchise and get rid of this convenience store in terms of operations
Yes?
and franchise. I thought we had a test run for about 2 or 3 months,
Okay.
and we just to a trial run, which we're in that.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so page 63, long-term borrowings. It says the principal payment will be payable at maturity in US dollars. Now, of course, my question
No.
is,
All right. First of all, you want to finish your question.
so the debt should be paid by September the 30th.
Right.
So
we have
is
been
the-
making preparations for that. So what happens now? It's in US dollars. However, in negotiating that bond, we had a lower interest rate. And it was we took into consideration inflation in the US dollar. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when we took that bond, we were anticipating, it was projected that the service station would have been operated from February last year. So we would have revenues, profits to pay down, if not pay it off by September this year. However, we had challenges. We didn't start operations until December, as you know. So we actually completed 1 quarter and a week or a few weeks. So, but however, what we have decided to do is, it's basically, we are planning to close out, whether by debt or another means, this bond by the end of this year. So we're going to convert it to a debt, whether a loan, Jamaican loan, or another option we might be looking at.
But one of the terms is that it's secured by shares.
No, it's not secured by share. That's supposed to be corrected. It's actually secured by property. That was corrected, well, probably in an earnings call that we had, when we mentioned reference to it. That was an error within the audit. It's not secured by shares, it's secured by property.
Property.
Yeah.
No, so you're going to give up your assets instead of the shares?
Pardon me?
You're going to give up assets instead of shares?
Right, so, no, not give up. It was actually secured originally by not shares. It was originally secured by the property.
What property?
It's Paradise location.
The
gas
Paradise
station.
location.
Yeah. So that was actually secured. I think it's some oversight or some error that was made when it was mentioned about shares being security, sorry.
Someone else observed the Paradise location, and it was a part of the security?
Paradise location was used for the security, for the bond. You're not understand?
I'm trying to follow. You say it was an area that it was secured by shares.
Right, so it's not secured
Instead,
by
it was
shares any at
secured
all.
by property, which is the Paradise location.
Right.
But still, Paradise location is...
No, man, the bond was used for Kingston, not for Paradise. The bond was used for Kingston not for Paradise. So the Paradise property was used for security for the bond.
Oh, but it's the valuation is not 250 million.
280.
So how is it enough?
280.
200 and
That's the valuation. Yeah, the Paradise.
280? Is this 250?
280.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. I saw
Oh,
250.
so, no, man, so what is the question? I mean, what?
I think there is a misunderstanding between what you are saying and his understanding. The loan, the bond is 215.
Yes.
Right.
But Mr. Williams is saying that he's talking about 280 million, which is the value of the security. So it's two, right?
The
Yeah.
value of
so-
security is
All right.
280.
All right.
Right.
No. All right. Yeah, we're on
Yeah.
the same page now. Yes, definitely. For motor vehicle expenses, page 57, it went from 913,501 in 2023 to 60,258 in 2024. Now, that's a good thing, I would assume, but it's kind of unusual for a gas company. Wouldn't it increase? Would it be increased instead? Or at least remain the same?
No, for motor vehicle expense?
Yes.
Well, motor vehicle expense is primarily for our trucks, and we have been more active, a lot more has been going on over the past year as previous years. So the motor vehicle expenses would have gone up.
Yes, most of it would have been relocated into the cost of sales.
All right.
Yes.
All right. All right, that's fine. I had another question about the telephone costs, but I hear you're getting more calls this year, so I'll just leave that. Not more calls. I'll just leave that.
No,
Now, this is a general question. Now, let me just preface this by saying I have no problem with anyone's paycheck, but the company, as you've said many times, is in a period of growth. But since 2022 to 2025, every AGM meeting, there has been a resolution to fix the remuneration with no dividends to the investors or even promises. Outside the loan, I know that, was that an error? Because the loan says you cannot pay dividends. So this is outside the loan.
Oh, no. He was saying,
I'm asking, outside the loan, right? One of the part of the stipulations was that you're not supposed to pay dividends while you have the loan. Outside the loan, the company is in a period of growth, as you said, but every year there's been a resolution to fix the remuneration since the first meeting to the current one, with no dividend to investors, nor promises.
well, so what you want to know if
Or
we're going to pay dividend
promises.
for this year or for the coming year?
Future, in the future.
Oh, the future? No, man. We have just recently done up a dividend policy. We just completed a draft of, and we definitely intend to pay a dividend. Well, I don't want to commit to that. However, but as I said, we have opportunities keep coming on the table for us for expansion, and we want to pay dividends, but we have such a small market share now in comparison to the entire industry, and we want to gain that market share. So I would say if you allow us to continue this growth trajectory currently, because we have the service station at the airport that we're just awarded. So we want to see what we can do with our funds that we have currently to reinvest that. Yes, we definitely want to pay dividends for the next quarter, but we want to see as the opportunity, because this is an opportunity for us to continue to grow exponentially over a short period of time. So in other words, it will translate into higher dividends when we're going to come out and pay dividends, however we declare dividends. That's why currently. But yes, if we are in a position to pay dividends in the coming year, we'll definitely do so. Keep our shareholders happy.
That's what Fesco said.
What? Well, if you look at our it's no comparison. between us and Fresco, especially where we are and where, yeah, in terms of growth and what we have achieved over the period.
And that's my question. Fine.
That's, all right, thank you. All right. No, let's stay.
Okay, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm just asking a question. I am a past shareholder. I'm not currently a shareholder. Is it allowed for me to ask a question,
No,
sir?
ma'am. Oh, no, oh,
No, it's
okay.
not? Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay.
Mark Anthony Barton. MAB.
Mark Anthony.
Good afternoon, Board of Directors and fellow shareholders. Mark Anthony Barton. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the CEO, you just mentioned earlier to the previous shareholder that you just did a draft for a dividend policy. Where is that in terms of being fleshed out?
Where is that in terms of?
Being fleshed out. Is it a white paper or a green paper? What is it?
No, it's just a first draft.
A first draft.
Sorry, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for that question. Mr. Bartley, it's a process. Sorry, Barton. Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
Barton. Yes, the dividend policy is part of our governance framework.
Yeah.
And there is a process that we have to follow. So the draft has gone through several iterations, and therefore we'll take it to the next board meeting, which we expect to have it next month. But right now, it's a draft, and it is to be signed off by the directors.
All right. So question, when the prospectus came out with your IPO, there was none?
I can't speak to that.
Okay, all right.
I was on the board.
No, no.
Over my head. All right, cool, no problem. Since it's a draft, I can't ask the next question. But next thing, your market share since your growth, since listing. Could you give me an idea of what it is? Like what, 5%, 7% year over year?
That's the market cap or the market price? Which market share?
No, the market share. The percentage.
I think the share over the period increase. I think
Not the share, you know. The market share, the business. From your segment, your
Or the
gas?
market share?
Yes.
Or the
yes.
market share?
Right.
Okay. Okay, you mean like for the LPG? Or
Right. And the
Right.
gas
So for the automotive, as I said, because we're a young company, we
Definitely.
had a very small market share. So we have, I can not give you the exact or probably an approximate percentage, but for automotive fuels, I would say we are probably doubled what our share before. So if we had 5% of the market, which we had probably 2.5% of the market.
You mean
share.
your regional market or your national market?
National market.
Okay.
National market. So we'd have probably 2.5%. So we have a large room for growth. We would have probably double that. No, or probably 3 times 7.5% of the island's market share.
That's where I had it in my head, about 7.5.
Right, for island, for the automotive fuel. For the LPG,
Yeah.
again, it's a small market, probably 1-point-something% when I checked it in probably 2022, 23.
Yeah.
So we probably moved
To about 3%.
On the bulk side, wouldn't have doubled
About
on the
3%
bulk
now.
side, would have doubled or more than doubled, because again, for the bulk, we can supply island-wide based on the nature of bulk product. It doesn't require cylinders or that.
No,
capital
yeah.
expenditure. So we can. That's a matter of marketing and sales. So we more than doubled what we used to do over the last year or 2 years
Yeah.
for the bulk petroleum LPG. For the right, for the bulk, yes. So we continue to grow that. We had a franchise agreement, as you know, for the bulk. So that gave us a big push for the bulk. However, we have to be for bulk LPG. I can tell you, it's a lot of credit involved with that.
Yeah,
That's the nature of the market.
That's the nature of the market.
Right.
True.
So we have to manage that. So what you find that we had grown, but a lot of the sales end up in receivables. And we have to control our receivables. So what we have to do now is implement, which again, with our management team, we meet constantly to evaluate all of these, is put strict policies in place, and not only put them in place, but enforce them.
Right.
Right. So what you find, we have to take a hard and fast decision. Listen, if you don't pay your bill X amount of period, if you have a 7-day, you just cannot get any product. If you want to go to the commission, fine, because it doesn't make sense. We continue to build our receivables just to increase sales, and we're not collecting the actual money. So that's where we are now. So you might find a little fall off for a period, but it has been working because none of the other competitors really, what I realize, don't really allow it either, the receivables to go, because that's the nature of the market. And you don't want to have that high receivables on that, on bulk LPG, because the margins, again, is not as huge as the household.
Yes.
So we have to control that. You know, what we do, we try to grow our market share with our strategic plans in terms of customer service primarily. And on time, that's where there's a little gray area within the industry. Customer service, because you have to be supplying customers in a timely manner.
Right.
So we have put strategies in place now to ensure that they don't really run out at the same time they pay the bills on time. It's a balancing act for us.
Yeah.
But we're doing quite good so far.
All right, and then you have to, as I say, aggressively monitor the delinquencies.
Right. The receivables.
Oh, question in regards to your motor vehicle fleet. Have you been, what you call the word here now?
Expanded.
Not only expanding, you know, but allowing other contractual haulers to come in?
Right. So, based on my personal experience with motor vehicles, especially commercial motor vehicles, that, if not managed properly, well, that in itself is a business within itself. Motor vehicle transportation, haulage, logistics, anything to do with transportation is a business within itself, and it can become quite costly. The maintenance is high, it can become quite costly. However, fortunately for the industry, petroleum in Jamaica, there are numerous amount of contractors who have to comply with strict regulations, especially we, Regency Petroleum, who purchase primarily from Petrojam.
Yeah.
So Petrojam within itself, they are very strict, and they're, with their rules and regulations and policies for these haulage contractors to comply by. So what we have done, we have basically, well, I would say 100% or 90% of our haulage is done by contractors, or is done by contractors registered with Petrojam.
Reputable contractors.
Reputable contractors. So they have to be reputable to be able to enter Petrojam's compound.
Definitely.
To load. But for the LPG, we have our own units for that. Okay. So because we want to contract, I said we want to ensure efficiency and good customer service. Not to say, because these haulage contractors that we use, they are quite, I said, boy, they're very effective, very efficient. We have no issues at all. We cannot fairly say that we have a delay in our delivery of fuel, or it caused any problems at the service because of transportation issues or haulage issues. We have some good contractors assigned to us, and we have a relationship with our contractors, very good relationship with our contractors.
All right, another question following up on that. LPG, have you significantly increased the amount of clients since your IPO?
For the bulk, yes. And for the household, for both sides, yes. For the household, significantly increased in our region, Westmoreland.
Definitely.
Hanover, St. Elizabeth.
Yeah, man, you have to lock off
right.
the yard.
So we basically, and we have been purchasing cylinders, I mean, container by container.
Yeah, over time.
And we have been trying control. We have a lot of confidence being displayed by our distributors because the network is already in place. So, and I have a lot of confidence in our product, what we supply, and we have a lot of demand for it. So we just need to invest now in the cylinders.
All right.
You know, so,
and congratulations on Spanish Town Road.
Oh, thank you.
I hope the environment doesn't give you any unnecessary problems.
Look at the positive, you know?
Yeah, man.
And the community, I mean, I can tell Spanish Town Road is very welcoming. It's a smooth operation over by Spanish Town Road.
And I would strongly suggest that in your corporate social responsibility, you look across the road to Bumper Hall and Stats. St.
No,
Andrew
man,
Technical?
we had put that out there from the opening.
No, they don't want a sponsorship. Okay. And your cooking gas, is it available readily in
No, not in the corporate area.
Not as yet.
Which is why we want, that's where we want to go next.
Okay, you
Right.
mean Spanish Town Road first?
No, we want to launch the entire corporate area.
I
That-
see.
that-
Well,
that-
that's,
so you will
that's
have
a good look.
Yeah.
And as for the expectations of a return in dividends for shareholders, should we look at a 3 to 5 year plan for that?
Comfortably, but we're going to do it before that.
No, don't commit, but
I know,
3
I
to
know,
5
right,
years.
3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you very
yeah.
much.
Through you, Chair, just for the benefit of all shareholders, indeed, when we issued the IPO, the dividend policy, we did commit to developing, to pursuing a liberal dividend policy and make it available to all of you. It is, as I indicated, it is in the process. Okay? So it was stated in the IPO.
Yes, Martel Fennell, shareholder. Just a quick one on dividends. Those who invested at the time of the IPO, $1 per share, you can pay yourself your own dividends because it's now at $3 plus.
True.
So all you gotta do is sell some of the shares, and then you'd have paid yourself your own dividends. Simple.
Yeah, that's true. And we have further to go.
Afternoon, my name is Quincy Dale, shareholder. I was wondering if your guys' gas station that is on Spanish Town Road opens on Sundays.
No.
Because if it did, it would probably boost revenue or increase it in somewhat.
All right. Based on our, I understand what you say.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer it in two parts. The location is one that caters primarily for public passenger vehicles traversing within the corporate area from the rural areas. So you find that you don't have that traffic flow, a very, very small percentage of traffic flow you'd have during the week on a Sunday. But again, we have our company's policy that our operating service stations will be closed on Sundays, primarily for time for worship and rest and family time.
Okay, all right.
So,
Hello. How are you doing?
good to see you.
Directors? Oh, I guess. Oh, yeah. My name is Tavares Donaldson, shareholder. My name is Tavares Donaldson, shareholder.
Donaldson.
Yeah, man. Well, I have one question, and the others are basically statements. First, we have to start off by saying wonderful job to the team. You guys did just as I expected. I've been buying from $1. Even to them, I buy a $3.80 something. So, may I show my commitment? May I show my commitment because the part is very clear. We can see it, everything in the audit, in the financials. I mean, not much question about it. The dividends, I wasn't really expecting to talk about dividends so quick, but I would welcome it, no problem. But the first question is for the LPG side. From IPO, I've heard so much about it being capital intensive, and as such, as a shareholder, I would consider myself a bit smart. And the fact that keep and repeat so much time, I know, say, boy, some money I got definitely need if I do this. So, I mean, some research would have already been carried out. So, may I look for kind of here, see if you can give me a figure, rough figure of, how much you might need to help boost the cylinders.
Let me give you an idea. It's
400
going to
and something
depend on the regions that we plan to, our region that we plan to, which currently we have 90% decided or 85% decided on the corporate area primarily. So I'm going to break it down specifically, like in more details. Like we just give you the details.
No problem.
One container is in the region of 9.5 to $11 million. That is about 1,498 25-pound cylinders, right? Now, that one's from Thailand. Chinese is about $1 million and a half less. We want to stick to the Thailand one, which is very good quality, and Bureau standards approved, pre-approved as a matter of fact. And they have been in business for over the years. So from China, it's $1.5 million less. So it's average $9 million per container. For the corporate area, and I would just broadly, the corporate area, I wouldn't tell you like Kingston 8, Kingston 6, Kingston 5, whatever, Kingston 10. All right, just the general corporate area, which is what we want to do. We don't want to be in a particular area in the corporate, we want to be the entire and saturate the corporate area. That's going to be, when our calculations, it's in the region of 20 containers for 25 pounds. So you can do the maths from that, you know? So you're talking about $200 million there just for 25 pounds. With that, and we have a lot of 100-pound users. We have a lot of 30-pound users. So it's broken down like this. 70% of the market, 25-pound users. 20% of the market, 30-pound users. And 10% of the market, 100-pound users. That's for the corporate area. So we can do the calculations from that. So I would say for the corporate area, in a region of $250, $300 million will be needed to expand the LPG for the corporate area alone. Because if you're talking about the entire Jamaica now, you're talking about $1.5, $2 billion. You know, rate of investment. Now, so we want to, we are known in the rural areas. We are shareholders know us in the corporate area. We want to be established within the corporate area. Because, I can't hide the fact the corporate area is always Jamaica. The corporate area still plays a significant role in the entire country. You know, and we want to be established here now. We have the second service station which will be on the way very soon. So we need to really establish in the cooking gas, the LPG, household cylinders now. So we don't go anywhere and say, you have the green cylinder, they never see it before.
Well, that sounds good. As I said, still those things.
Well, the Jamaican cylinder. Good one. The Jamaican cylinder. Yeah.
All right. So with that.
And green. Green is the color for energy too, you know. So it's aware the energy industry. Right.
Yeah. So not much different from what was said from the initial public offering. As it stands, the government recently announced that junior market companies can increase the capitalization while keeping the tax break. And to almost see it out 400 and something million. So
just
the company,
about, yeah.
The company have about 400 million now where we can raise well. I don't know about nobody else still, but me have some money kind of put on a weight on that. But my issue now is that me really don't want to kind of discounted shares to Tom, Dick and Harry.
No, Tom.
So yeah, so so much other people here talking about them dividends, and it kind of would be a shame because me say I buy shares today for $3.80 something. I think at $3.88. Exactly, and I have multiple orders in the buy queue waiting in case anybody want to cash out some dividends. I have some orders I wait, but my concern really is that we kind of see it over and over where in companies them start off good, we put our faith in them, put money in them. We're not getting a salary from the company. We're not getting directors' fees, But exactly. So we have to think about our capital gains if we choose to sell or our dividends. So we have to think about that going forward. I really want the company to kind of lose sight of the people who are there from day one. So really and truly, I actually put myself out there. I don't like associate my name with certain things, but let it be known that I am on the train and I don't want to compete with other people.
No, man. And, and it's noted. Yeah. It is noted, and I can tell you that you should know by now, we actually listen to our shareholders, and we have had numerous questions, requests, and just inquiries as to if we were to do a capital raise, what avenue? Well, I've had numerous questions on that. What avenue would we look at? First of all, we will look at the best avenue for the company. So whatever decision is going to be taken with regards to a capital raise will be in the best interest of the company, which is made up of our shareholders. So I know we have options of APO rights issue, I go straight to it. APO rights issue, a debt, another option. So listen to the shareholders, and we want you to, because we appreciate your confidence in the company. And for those who have confidence in the company and continue to invest in the company, we listen to you, and we hear what you have to say, and we would definitely lean towards protecting you, our existing
Our
shareholders.
fiduciary rights.
By rights issues.
Which we actually have. So
exactly.
if we hear anything about meeting to consider to...
And we have, as I said, we have enormous room for growth. So it's not like we achieve or we have reached that peak where we can take other options of APOs or whatever. We are in the growth stage. So we appreciate our shareholders currently, and we want to grow together. We want everybody to benefit from it. So I would say, lean towards a rights issue if we are going to go equity rights issue.
Well, it makes sense. It kind of basically is a free loan.
Yeah. And we want our value.
Not even a loan, you get the money.
We want our share value to maintain where it is and grow continuously. I know when the APO would discount.
Because I not lie still know if me here, but the APO may sell. And
no, that's it.
I probably have almost 4 million shares, so. I mean, as I say, I have to protect myself. I not go around.
Right.
Literally not go around. So I have to protect myself as a shareholder. Because I mean, the offer going to be attractive to whoever it go to.
Right.
So probably the offer going to be about $2. My average price.
Right.
Actually, no, my average price is more than $2.
We have a lot of room for growth.
So we have to think about that.
We have a lot of room for growth when it comes down to market share or market gain, to gain market share. So right now, yeah, I think we would lean towards the
I don't really want to cut you still, but as the rights issue, I have to explain for who in here so actually know the benefit what that they would be giving up if it is not like that.
Right.
Because if I own 0.23% of the company, which I do, and there's a rights issue, I would have rights to that amount, to the equivalent, right? Right. So if that now goes out to the public, me have to go fight with them. Me might can't even defend my 0.23. And then now when the dividend do declare, my dividend maga down because of not these people that weren't there from before. So as a shareholder, I have to come up here. This is the reason why we have a meeting, so we can come up here and let the voices be heard. So as me say, the company have 400 and something million. I don't know if about nobody else. Maybe if them here so them can get some RPL shares tomorrow morning at $2, them would gladly take it. So me I talk to myself, but I would think they would agree. So, not much to say after that. But me just want to make sure I say, so thank you very much.
No man, thank you too.
Man.
Thank
Respect,
you.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Dominic Hutchinson, shareholder. Dominic
Hutchinson.
All right, just two main questions in relation to the airport station. You had mentioned you just got it, so congratulations on that. Would you be able to say what the timeline is looking like for that to be up and running?
All right. I've learned my lesson when it comes on to Spanish Town Road. However, we're looking to operate. We have a strict plan in place based on the award of that particular contract or service station. We have to abide by certain guidelines, and we have to meet certain deadlines. And with all of that said, we are looking for the end of the first quarter to the beginning of the second quarter next year.
Okay. That would be deal
operation. That is
deal.
what we are in the process of doing now, because to decide.
Oh.
So we'll let you know shortly.
Okay.
We'll declare that shortly.
Okay.
Whether it's dealer owned, dealer operated, or well, not dealer owned, it will be company owned, dealer operated, or company owned, company operated.
Okay. All right.
Because what happens is we're in a growth stage, and we want to expand. This is just like we're like our 5th or 6th service station. So
Right.
we're looking at 20s service stations in the 20s minimum. So we have our strategies in place to operate, but if we can look on the broad scope and expand as we are now, and we can go into an arrangement, like dealer operated, and it benefits both parties, and the company has time to continue its growth path on a fast pace. We're looking at it's a number of options we're looking at.
Understood.
For it.
The next question I have is in relation to electricity as a line item, acknowledging the line of business that we're in. Well, you're in. The cost of electricity is what it is.
It's not that significant when it comes out, especially for the gas station. For the service station, I can tell you, it's less than a convenience store to be operated.
Understood.
So it's not with the type of equipment that we use. It's quite energy efficient, and we find that it's not an unbearable cost. To the point where we say we probably need to implement some solar alternative energy.
Okay. Well, where I was going with the question was partially that, but with respect to a lot of these service stations that are kind of differentiating themselves by having, charging stations, is that something that
definitely something that we're looking at, especially now with the increase in EV and the government in support of that also. So we can actually joint venture with JPS on it, and we can put in charging stations for ourselves also.
Is that in consideration stage, or is that in train?
No, man, it's something that we're looking at to put in at our service stations.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening again, shareholders. Mark Anthony Barton. The shareholder before me raised the same area that I had an eyeball on in terms of the electricity cost. But I could venture further in this, that of all the existing properties that you own, have you implemented any solar footprints on them?
No, not the head office only. And that was prior to
okay.
to us being listed.
All right. So is our company looking towards
we're definitely
going in that direction?
We're going in that direction.
There's a 50% target expected by 2030.
Yeah.
Which will fall into the 5-year expectation of a dividend. Less electricity.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, man. Yes.
I like that. I'm giving you time to recoup,
Yeah.
All right, cool. Take it from there.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna take one final question.
Pleasant good afternoon, Lanzel Bloomfield, shareholder. Mr. Chairman, I actually have 4 quick questions. Mr. Chairman, with a number of tariffs being announced by North American governments, what impact, if any, is this having on business with this company?
Well, our sole supplier is our local refinery, which is Petrojam. So whatever tariffs would have been laid on them would probably trickle down on us. We haven't seen any significant changes thus far. So as I said, our sole supplier is Petrojam. We do not import. And for the LPG cylinders, which would have been imported, our equipment, which is just when we are doing a construction, that is a duty-free product. So far. Well, it's up to the Jamaican government to change. Well, so far it's a duty-free product.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, why is it that the owner of the property on Spanish Town Road was given a loan by this company to build a gas station, and then this company will in turn turn around and lease this gas station. So who will own this station, and is there a conflict of interest here?
All right. So first of all, it's a 25-year lease. All equipment that is laid down at the service station has a 25-year warranty. And we, based on our projections and what we have been doing in terms of profitability, sales, and what we have projected based on traffic flow and all that, we estimated that we would recoup this expenditure within 5 years and further on go on to gain profits for the next 15 years. And this is all in the trajectory of growing the company. In the short space of time with the opportunities that come to our table. So an opportunity came to the desk where the primary obstacle was overcome by having an approved plan. The next thing is that when we did our due diligence in terms of traffic flow and cash flow projections, we saw where over a 5-year period we could recoup. So if we can, and this is our methodology, I would say, if you can spend and recoup over a short period of time and earn profits for the company over a longer term. So in the short to medium term, you spend, you recover your expenses and your costs, and you can go ahead and make profits. So this was an opportunity that came to us on the table where we saw that we could actually experience this. We could spend, recoup in 5 years, and have 15 years of profits to show. After which, our assets would have been depreciated over time, and this warranty period for the primary assets, tanks, canopies, dispensers. I mean, for argument, I can tell you, the dispensers, we don't want to keep a dispenser in for more than 5 years. We want to keep abreast with technology, to be more efficient. Yes. And after operating for a few quarters, we can cover the expense of the dispensers.
I get you partly, but okay. I don't think you have answered the question. Oh. Why is it that this person was given a loan by this company and not the person going to the bank or the credit union to get the loan?
Oh, no, the person, well, let me ask you.
Is there an association with this person and this company?
Okay, no, this person was not given a loan, Regency was given a loan, not the person. The person allowed us to use their permits to do the service station. So we were allowed to use permits to construct a service station under Regency Petroleum. Regency Petroleum was the one who got the loan. So I hope I answered the question with that part. So, okay. So the person wasn't given a loan. Regency Petroleum was given Regency Petroleum took on the debt via a bond, not the owners of the property. Regency Petroleum went into an agreement, a lease agreement, with the owners of the property.
Okay, I will accept that for the time being. Mr. Chairman, in 2024, your total revenue was 1.6 billion, and your expense 1.38 billion. What is being done to reduce your expenses so as to drive more to your profit line?
All right. This whole industry, especially automotive fuels, which would have contributed primarily, are a larger percentage of the revenue. So, automotive fuels, it takes a lot in terms of administration. So our costs for automotive fuel in terms of purchases and cost of sales and gross profit, the purchases are so high and the margins are small, right? So you'll find that the costs, our cost of sales will be very high, because primarily it is made up, that 1.6 billion is made up of automotive fuels, not LPG. On the other hand, if it was made up of LPG household cylinders now, then you would see a vast difference in terms of cost and revenue and net profit.
Okay, last question. In 2023, your expected credit loss was 0. But in 2024, your expected credit loss is now 5.1 million. Why do you have such a high figure for the 2024 period?
That's a projected.
Based on our ECL policy that we have implemented, there is a percentage based on the age of the receivable
All right.
So it's an accounting principle, basically. It's
All
an
right.
accounting principle.
Accepted.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And just to say, the board takes your input very seriously. We have heard your interests, we have heard your concerns, and in our deliberations, we always take into account our shareholders, and we appreciate you very much. And just by your mere presence here today shows your interest in the company, and we will safeguard the company on your behalf. So thank you very much for that.
There was something very, very important that I left out in my presentation. No. And it's that we should be very proud, because I am very proud, and we should be very proud. This is an announcement that will be made shortly within the media and social media. Regency Petroleum was recognized in the Financial Times as one of the fastest growing companies within the Americas. That's within globally. That's globally. And also, Jamaica is not usually one of the companies that are included on this list. And we were ranked 312, and 8th in the energy sector. So that's in the entire world, globally, as the fastest growing company. Sorry, and let me. I didn't get to introduce for who weren't at the previous AGM, but our management team. Our operations manager, Mrs. Letitia Porter. Our internal accountant, Wazim Williams. Who should have been first? Our executive vice president, Amanda Williams. Our plant manager, LPG plant manager, David Jackson. And we have our accounting consultant, Lancelot Anderson. And most importantly, our CFO, Jerry Grant.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrew. As there are no further questions, I'd like to put to vote the resolution for the adoption of the audited accounts for the year ended December 31st, 2024, and the reports of the directors and auditors thereupon. Before the meeting, Resolution 1, that the audited accounts of and the reports of the directors and auditors of the year ended December 31st, 2024, be and hereby adopted. Do I have a proposer? Mark Anthony. Mark, seconded? Howard. I now put the resolution to the meeting. Those in favor? Any against? The ayes have it. I declare the motion carried. We now move on to the second item on the business, which deals with the re-election of directors. Article 102 of the company's amended articles of incorporation state that the annual general meeting, subsequent to the first annual general meeting of the company, 1/3 of the directors, except the managing director, shall retire every year. There is only one such director who will retire under this article, Director Ratcliffe Nibbs, and who, being eligible, offers himself for re-election. His profile is on page 10 of the annual report. Resolution number 2, that Director Ratcliffe Nibbs, retiring by rotation and being eligible for reappointment, be and is hereby re-elected as director of the company. Mark Anthony? Thank you. Seconded. Sandip's popular inside here, man. I think you guys were from elsewhere, you know. The ayes have it. I declare the motion carried. The next resolution, resolution number 3, which reads that the amount of $1,050,000 included in the audited accounts of the year ended December 31st, 2024, as remuneration for their services as directors be and is hereby approved. You can give us some more money, you know, if you don't want. We have a proposal. Mark Anthony. I think so too, but it's all right. We're working with management. We're working with Jerry. Seconded. Those in favor? Any against? The ayes have it. I declare the motion carried. And the next motion is to appoint the auditors and authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. I now move that the next item on the agenda, which deals with the appointment of the auditors, McKinley and Associates, chartered accountants, have expressed their willingness to continue in office and will do so in accordance with the provisions of the Companies Act. The meeting is being asked to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. That McKinley and Associates, chartered accountants, having agreed to continue in office as auditors, be and are hereby appointed auditors for the company to hold office until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting and at remuneration to be fixed by the directors of the company. I now invite a proposer. May I have a proposer? Lanzel Bloomfield. A seconder? Gladys Brown Ellis. Thank you very much. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formal business of this meeting. And I thank you all very much for your interest and support. Continue to give us your feedback. Continue to pray for us. And I now invite a shareholder to move for a resolution to conclude this meeting. Natasha? A second, no? Mark Anthony. All in favor? The ayes have it, and I declare the motion carried to declare the 3rd annual general meeting of the company terminated. Once again, thank you very much for your interest and participation, and we look forward to your continued support in the coming year. Thank you.